Hello everyone and welcome to another casual review. Today I'm talking about Super Mario Bros. 3. I played this through the Nintendo Switch Online, specifically on the Super Nintendo, the remastered version in the Super Mario All-Star Collection. This game is revered amongst all gamers. What it did for two-dimensional platformers is absolutely undeniable. It's also just a huge jump from the previous Super Mario games. I mean, Super Mario 2 is kind of the black sheep of this trilogy, but still, what it did with that overworld map selection and everything, it's really crazy the jump between Super Mario Bros. 1 and 3. It's crazy that this game originated on the NES, and I know I am playing the remastered version of this game, but still, like, the fact that all of this was jam-packed onto an NES game is absolutely bonkers. It took me a while to get warmed up to the movement controls again. I used to play this game all the time as a child, but its movements are a little more slippery. I feel like Mario might have a little more gravity applied to him compared to newer Mario games, but once you've been playing for about half an hour, you do get comfortable with Mario's movement. There are so many different power-ups in this game. Probably not the most amount of a Mario game, but I mean, this game is mostly known for the leaf power-up. This is kind of like your flight mechanism, where basically once you get a full run going, then you can use the leaf power-up in order to fly for a little while. The running system is really different in this game compared to other Mario games. Basically, you have like this charge meter, and as you run, this meter will slowly fill up until it starts beeping at you, and that means you can do a super big jump, or you can start flying if you have that leaf power-up. An upgrade from the leaf power-up is the Tanuki suit, which basically lets you fly, but you can also turn into a statue. I had a lot of fun with the Tanuki suit, and I wish that it was more common in this game. I could say that about a lot of suits that are only around for, a couple of levels. The frog suit is fun, although its movement is a little wonky the way that it does little leaps forward in order to move, but the frog can jump super high. I actually had a lot of fun with the hammer suit in this game. I often forget that the hammer suit is even a thing because you usually don't get it until later in the game. But what's interesting about the hammer suit that I never realized before is the hammers that you can throw can pretty much destroy almost any enemy. Like, you can use these hammers to destroy thwomps and boos. Just enemies that I assumed were immune to any kind of damage could be potentially destroyed by these hammer throws. It's just a shame that the hammer suit is not that common in this game. Another thing that is notable in this game, it's not necessarily like a power-up, but it makes an appearance in like one level. You can destroy an enemy that's in a boot, and then you can hop in that boot, and then that allows you to jump on like spiky terrain without taking any kind of damage. I will say the star in this game is really, really bad just because of how short it is compared to other Mario games. I feel like the star lasts maybe like 10 seconds. At least it feels like that. It definitely feels like it's not as long compared to other Mario games. Somebody's going to call me out with some actual facts, and actually it's the same amount of length for any game. The cool thing about this game compared to its predecessors is you can store these items and these power-ups for use when you actually need them. This is even an upgrade compared to a game like Super Mario World, where you can only store one power-up. This game allows you to store like pages of power-ups. One of the really good power-ups that you're going to want to save for a super difficult platforming challenge will be the P-Wing. Basically, this allows you to fly forever. Like, pretend that you're using a leaf, but you always have access to that flight. You don't have to get a running start over and over again. Unfortunately, it only lasts for a level, but I could see that maybe being a little too overpowered if that ability persisted throughout the levels. In addition to the power-ups, you also have lots of opportunities to gain levels. The most notable one is every time you beat a level, then you will get to this black screen, and it's almost like this roulette that cycles between mushroom, fire flower, and star. Collect 3 of the same items, and you can get additional lives. If you get a running start before you hit that roulette item, you're pretty much guaranteed a star. So if you're collecting 3 stars, you're getting 5 5 lives every time you beat 3 levels. Easy to do, especially at the beginning of the game, but it does get progressively more challenging to get that running start as you enter the black screen. The level selection is pretty famous just because it basically invented this whole system of selecting levels rather than just going from level 1-1 to 1-2 to 1-3 to 1 castle. This time you get this almost like this overworld where they have a bunch of branching paths and you can kind of like choose what level you tackle at what time. There are also times when you technically do not have to do a particular level. You can bypass it by going down a different path. There are also like enemies around this overworld map that you can bump into, and if you defeat them, then you get a power-up that you can store for later. There's these mushroom houses, and it basically gives you 3 chests, and you choose one of the chests to get a power-up. You will get this roulette icon on the overworld map, and if you can time your button presses correctly and get a matching mushroom fire flower star, then you will also get lives from this. I'm really bad at timing this roulette system, and to be honest, by the end of the game, I had like 30 or 40 lives, so I wasn't really hurting for lives. Typically, I would skip those. There's also like a match 2 game where there's a bunch of cards that are flipped over and you have to find 2 that are matching, and if you get them matching, then you get that item or those coins. This overworld also has a couple secrets and obstacles that you can bypass if you know where to go and what to do. So occasionally you may unlock a hammer power-up, which allows you to destroy a boulder, which will unlock a new secret path, or other times you'll hop on a boat and you can go off screen, which will open up a new area with additional mushroom houses. There is a super secret power-up. This may be a spoiler for the game, but there are a couple opportunities to get this super secret power-up called like a whistle, and this whistle allows you to jump forward in worlds if you want to skip ahead. I didn't do that because I wanted to experience this game at its fullest. I played through every single level, but it is cool that it has that option. And it is cool that this game just has so many little secrets peppered in, and I feel like every time I do a replay of Super Mario Bros. 3, I always find like an additional little thing, maybe like a hidden block that has a mushroom hidden in it, or a secret passageway, or little things like that. The levels themselves aren't too long. If you're not dying and you're going through the level at a reasonable pace, each level should take maybe like on average 2 to 3 minutes. I will say this though, there is a particular castle level that is so obscure. Knowing how to progress through this, it can be quite frustrating. It's almost like one of those boo houses in future Mario games where you have to do a subset of tasks in order to progress forward, otherwise it will consistently loop back. If you played this game before, you probably know the level that I'm referring to, but most of the other levels are fairly straightforward. I like how each one of these levels has like a new little gimmick that you're going to be playing through. Like in this one, all the enemies are giant, and if you go through this pipe, then they turn back to regular size. In this level, there's an angry sun for some reason who's going to be attacking you. In this level, we're just peppering in a bunch of piranha plants. Have fun. And so it did a really good job of keeping things fresh and interesting, so you didn't have to go through the same monotonous type of gameplay. In terms of levels, this game also introduces Bowser's airships. Nowadays, he is fairly famous for his flying ships, but I think this is the one that introduces the airships. Basically, at the end of every world, you go to a castle and Bowser has turned the king into a random enemy. One time, the king was turned into a Yoshi, and so you have to climb aboard the airship, navigate all the way through the airship, and then defeat one of the infamous Koopaling. If you do die during this airship, though, then the airship will go fly somewhere in the world, and you have to go chase that airship down. In terms of difficulty, this does a fairly good job of starting you off pretty simple and slowly ramping up that difficulty. By the time you get to the final world, you will be getting a run for your money unless you are an SMB3 veteran. This is where I was really starting to burn through those lives and those stored up power-ups that I have accumulated throughout my gameplay. The music is classic, iconic. Pretty much every type of gamer has played through some variation of Super Mario Brothers 3, and so you're probably familiar with the music at this point. And not to mention, it's been re-recorded and redone and remixed in future Mario games. As far as game length, it took me about 4 to 5 hours to beat, and that was clearing every single level. If I was using the whistles, obviously I could beat it way sooner than that. I didn't really do any kind of save scumming. Basically, I would just create a save point before I put my Switch to sleep, but I wasn't like making save points right before I entered a boss or anything like that. Overall, I had a great time playing this game. That's why I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Some gamers may call that blasphemy because I've heard a lot of opinions about this being the best two-dimensional platformer, the best Mario game, and I'm going to have to disagree with you guys there. I still think that Super Mario Bros. World is the best two-dimensional platformer and Mario game. This game comes fairly close though. Like, this game is definitely in the top 10, maybe even the top 5 Mario games. It's still super fun. I really like it, don't get me wrong, but in this day and age, I'm not sure if I could put that amazing tag on SMB3. Well guys, that's it for me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about Super Mario Bros. 3, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye!